Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
Along with him, we have again Padma Shri Dr. Chandrakant Pandey, who is also known as the Iodine Man of India. So we welcome you again in this show to enlighten us with the topic. I would definitely now request our chairperson, Professor Narayan, to chair the session, sir.
Thank you, Sir Mr.
Welcome, sir.
And I welcome both the doctors. So, Dr. Pandav is our uh, old member,
Oh,
and now Dr. Gupta has also joined us from the same fraternity, and Dr. Pandey has just joined us. So I welcome
oh,
Dr. A.K. Pandey also to this show. And today we are discussing about uh, Gaya, Vishnupad. Vishnupad as a gateway of moksha because Vishnupad is in the district of Gaya, very close to Bodh Gaya, and in the state of Bihar. That is known for the providing mokshas to dead ancestors. There is one ritual that's called as the uh, that is performed in one fortnight continuously in Gaya at the bank of river Falgu, and that is the Shraddh ritual, or the last rites of the dead ancestors are performed there with the help of those who are assisting pilgrims in performing, as known as Gehwal. They are the sacred specialists, they are the priest of that, and they are expert in assisting uh, devotees in performing the Shraddha rituals for the dead ancestors. So, and these rituals are performed at 22 places in Gaya. There are 22 centers where a pilgrim is supposed to perform the rituals in order to complete the Shraddha rituals. That is called the Gaya Shraddha rituals. And most of the pilgrims they perform at 22 places. But those who do not have time and those who are high profile people, they performed it in Vishnupad on the bank of the Falgu river, and only at one place they perform, and that is supposed to be that this rituals has been performed. That, that is supposed to be a complete rituals. But most of the people still believe that no, unless they go to 22 centers of Shraddha rituals, they don't get satisfaction of performing. So they do it at all the 22 centers. Those who are going, it's possible, they go for that. Covering all the 22 centers takes 3 days. 2 days in performing rituals at all the 22 places, and third day at performing rituals at Vishnupad. And there the uh, Keval Pandits, priests, they perform the final rituals, and then they are blessed with blessings by the Keval Pandits that yes, now you are recognized for performing the last rites of your dead ancestors, and now it is completed. So that is a belief that after performing those things, the rituals, the ancestors get free and they get moksha. So the concept of moksha is comes from there, that if the whole process of ritual is performed, then that is moksha. And it's very see it's a very, you can say, the strange that 6 kilometer away from that place is Bodh Gaya, where Lord Buddha also attained moksha, nirvana. So there is something very different which is not common with other places, where which was selected even by Lord Buddha for getting salvation, for getting free from the rebirth as a human being or for anyone. It's, it's very interesting that why people feel that by performing certain rituals they attain moksha, and their ancestors also attained moksha uh, from Bodh Gaya, from Gaya. And for Buddhist also, Bodh Gaya is same place, and that is very close. That is very close. Both of them, Gaya and Bodh Gaya, both are in Gaya districts, and at a distance of 6 kilometers from Gaya to Bodh Gaya or from Bodh Gaya to Gaya. So both the places are visited by the Hindus and the Buddhists in both the places. And sometimes you may find the people who are not very, say, orthodox Hindu are they are just believe in moksha, so they also come to perform such rituals in Gaya. So there is a huge number of pilgrims which comes, that is called the Shraddh Paksha, Pitru Paksha. Means, that is called the Pitru Paksh, the 15 days in a Hindu calendar that is marked as a Pitru Paksh. Means that is meant for your father and the ancestors, for the dead ancestors, dead fathers, for whom you have to perform the rituals. You may not perform, but it is assumed that majority of the Hindus perform that. That's why the Pitru Paksh is termed in, the Patra, that is the Hindu calendar, where all the details are given that on which date which people will perform rituals. That is a prescription. It's not that you go any day and you will perform. It's not that. There is a prescription that who can perform on which date. That is there. Generally, the day means is as per the Hindu calendar, maybe the first day, second day, the dead ancestors who died on particular date. Only on that date you have to perform that Shraddh rituals in Tripaksh. Only then it will be considered as a complete uh, offering of rituals for salvation or for moksha of the ancestors, for the dead souls, or dead ancestors. There is a lot of controversy. This is what I am talking about, the practical aspect of the Pitru Paksh, that which is happening each year. Each year that happens, and sometime it happens twice when there is a Malmas, means there is an additional month in one Hindu calendar. Then that year there will be two such there will be two such Pitru Paksh, and that is followed. That is very much followed by the people in that year. So this is something very unique for performing the rituals. That is that is very unique in Gaya, and the two centers in 22 uh, identified centers for performing Shraddh rituals. Two falls in Bodh Gaya. Also, Bodh Gaya is a subdivision. No, it's a block. Bodh Gaya is one of the administrative block for the in Gaya district. So it happens. Now in Vishnupad, that is the place is known as Vishnupad because there is a temple of Lord Vishnu, and which was created uh, centuries back, maybe in uh, it says that it was constructed in by Rani Holkar, Queen of Holkar, and it was say it's a quite old temple. I don't remember the exact date. It's a subject of history. They can suggest the exact of the construction of the temple. But that is very, very popular, and it's very difficult to visit during the that Pitru Paksh uh, period. Fortnight is very, very difficult to get an access in the temple. And Falgu River has a very uh, sometimes it do not have water in summer, but now the government has created a rubber dam there in Falgu, and with that rubber dam, the water is available in Falgu uh, throughout the year. So that is one thing that now in Falgu the water is available throughout the year, as claimed in government records. That has been recently provided for the pilgrims and the visitors. Now there is no dearth of water uh, in and around the Falgu River and Vishnupad temple. And the Panda, they have very, and the pilgrims have a very uh, deep connection and faith with the temple. All the prescriptive prescription are strictly followed the priest, by the priest and the uh, pilgrims, because it is said that once Sita performed that all those Shrad rituals for his father-in-law and Dashrath, and there is a kund, there is a place also which is marked as that this is the place where Sita performed that. So there are is belief in Hindu world that by performing rituals there, one will get and their parents, their dead ancestors will also get moksha. But whether really one gets mokshas or science has a different interpretation of moksha that by worshipping in Vishnupad you will get moksha. It has a scientific interpretation also. So they have their own thing to say. But largely in Hindu world, we have seen, we have a data that people from almost each uh, country where Hindu population is there, they visit Gaya and Vishnupad temple. And they uh, not only visit, but they make it a point to stay 3 nights while they have come to perform the rituals. So this is that, and if we go by text, whatsoever I said that it is mentioned, it's based on the folk traditions and also based on the great traditions. That is the our mythological books like Vedas, the scriptures, Manusmriti, and all that in Vishnu Puran, you find the reference of uh, this uh, this ritual, Shraddh ritual, and performed during particular period, which is almost in during 1 week, just 1 week before the Durga Puja, Dasara. That is sometime it comes in September, sometime in October, but that falls within these 2 months, and it is performed. Otherwise, even around the year, throughout the year, we find people coming to perform Shraddha rituals and in order to get moksha not only of their dead ancestors but also for themselves who are very much interested in the moksha. So that is a very ideal situation. You will not find a person who do not believe. I have seen the great scientist uh, so who was very friendly to me, Professor Yashpal. He came to India from during partition after the independence of the country. He came from Pakistan, but he also came to perform this ritual. We had a lot of discussion about the concept of moksha and all that. But when the question of performing the rituals at Gaya came, so he said, no, no, we will perform for our ancestors. And there is also a practice that if you think that you don't have any issue, don't have any children, if you feel that if there is some the moksha is if you don't have any issue and you have to perform some then you have to perform rituals for yourself. That is also in practice. Now, the concept of moksha, as mentioned in Gita or say Vishnu Puran, is that has been popularized in uh, local tradition. But whatsoever is written in texts, great tradition, scriptures, that has been popularized uh, by different sources in order to uh, convince or in order to support the rituals and request the people to perform it. So this is one aspect which I just wanted to share with you. But that is based on Lokik tradition, that is the little tradition, and great tradition, that is the tradition based on scriptures. So these are the two ways. And Moksha itself is a very debatable subject, uh, and there are different opinions about the Moksha. Now, I think Dr. Yash Gupta ji will say something of Moksha based on uh,
Thank you so much, sir.
Gita, as he told me that he will be talking the concept of moksha as mentioned in uh, Gita. So,
So, Dr. Gupta,
Thank you.
in case you can start. Yes, sir.
yes.
Thank you, Professor Narayan. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't been to Gyasur, the Vishnupada temple, but I know the legend. The legend goes that Gyasur in fact, Asur, who who prayed that anybody who sees him gets moksha. And so everybody was seeing him and having moksha. So then Vishnuji said, "This is not done. Moksha is not as simple as seeing somebody and achieving moksha." So he stood on his head, and he said, "You go underground, because nobody will be able to see you, and they can't get moksha that easily." And that's the pada where Vishnu's feet put the Gayasur into the earth. So that's how it has legend has been associated with moksha. But I mean, I will just propound a few things about moksha, which is said in Gita. Now, uh, three things I want to say. One is Gita is Shri Bhagwan Vach. There is no other religion in the world where it says Shri Bhagwan Vach. Even Christ said that he recalls the Lord's, he felt him, and then he said something, but he did not have any darshana. And any other religion, there is no uh, Sri Bhagwan Vach. Why this is important? Sri Krishna appeared on earth in 3228 BC. That is 5,250 years ago, roughly. And he left earth on in 3102 BC. So he was on earth for 125 years. And Vyasdev, Rishi Vyasdev, whose original name was Krishna Dvapayan Vyas. He was a contemporary of Krishna, and he's recorded everything, including Mahabharata and the sermon of Gita, which is like sung. So in Gita, what does Lord say? कि अंतकाले च मामेव स्वर्ण मुक्त्वा कलेवरम या प्रयाति यस्मद्भाव जाति नात्र संशय. कि in the end, on the last breath, if you are remembering me, then you will come to me. अंतकाले चमामेव स्मरण मुक्त्वा, जो मेरे को याद करते हुए, जैसे महात्मा गांधी थे फॉर एग्जाम्पल. महात्मा गांधी के लास्ट वर्ड्स थे हे राम, हे राम. तो definitely he will achieve moksha, because that was the last. And what they're saying is ki it is not easy to have those thoughts with the Lord on your deathbed, one's deathbed. So uske liye hi sara ye we have created all this the way methodology which is been given in Gita. Second thing I want to say, and I will come back to that in a minute, but the Professor Narayan mentioned about the concept of moksha is quite difficult to understand. And I will tell you a story from Bhagavatam. So Uddhav, I don't, a lot of you might know, Uddhav was he was associated with Krishna throughout all his life. And at the end, when Krishna said that I am going to my Vaikuntha Dham, so Uddhav said, take me with you, Krishna, as well. So Krishna laughed and said, although you have been very dear to me, but to come with me to Vaikuntha Dham is not easy. So I will. So he said, what is the method? So he tells him the method of achieving Lord's Dhama, which is moksha, Vaikuntha Dhama. So what did he say in that is called Uddhav Gita. So in that, Krishna said, I will tell you what I told Arjuna at the time of Mahabharata war, which happened about 3139 BC, about 50, 60 years before that. So Lord keeps telling him, ki, same as Gita, ki jatasya hi dhruva mrityu, dhruvam janamratasya cha, ki whosoever has been born, jatasya hi dhruva mrityu, is sure to die. Dhruva means this is an atal, this is as sthir, as जिसे कहते हैं constant as the ध्रुव तारा. This is the rule. जातस्य ही ध्रुव मृत्यु ध्रुवम जन्म मृतस्य च. और इतना ही अटल सत्य ये है कि जिसकी मृत्यु हुई है वो दोबारा जन्म लेगा. जातस्य ही ध्रुव मृत्यु ध्रुवम जन्म मृतस्य. This is the law. This is the law. Every creature is bound by this law. But then he says there is a way out. अब उसका तरीका बताते हैं, वो खुद ही बताते हैं. So in the 4th chapter, Krishna says, Imam vivasvate yogam proktaham abhyayam vivasvan manurve praha manurikshvakave abravit evam parampara praptem imam rajarisho vidu sakale namahata yoga nashta parantapa. Now this gyan that I am giving you, this science, is being said for a long time. ये ज्ञान सबसे पहले ने सूर्य को दिया था, सूर्य ने मनु को दिया, मनु ने इक्ष्वाकु को दिया. तो और अब ये ज्ञान जो है धीरे डिसिप्लिनिक सक्सेशन में it has been handed down over millenniums. So Arjun says, but Krishna, you are my age almost. How is it possible that you gave Gyan to Surya initially, which Surya is like millions of years old? So he says, Arjun, there was never a time when you were not there or I was not there. So, but you forgot everything, and I remember everything. So that is the nature of human beings: is we are mortal and we forget. So this is that's why I'm giving you this gyan again. So I'll just quote a few more shlokas because this is very important, because this is from the Lord. This is as truth as it gets. So what does Lord say? I think some of the shlokas people know. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मनं सृजाम्यहं परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृता धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. तो दिस इज व्हाट इज सेइंग कि जब जब धर्म की ग्लानि होती है और अधर्म बढ़ जाता है, तन आय सृजाम्य हम मैं अपने आप का सृजन करता हूँ और धर्म की रक्षा के लिए और अधर्म का नाश करने के लिए मैं युगों युगों से धरती पर आता हूँ. Then what he says, so this is 4.7, 4.8, 4.9 is a very important shloka of Gita. He says, जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः, जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहम पुनर्जन्मनायति मामेति सा अर्जुन. So herein he is telling us a way out of the life and death and rebirth cycle. This shloka exactly tells you what Krishna is saying to Arjuna कि जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम, जो मेरे इन जन्म माय दिव्य जन्म जो मैं करता हूँ मिलेनियम से, जिसको ये समझ में आ जाता है, त्यक्त्वा देहम, आफ्टर लिविंग बॉडी he is not reborn. त्यक्त्वा देहम पुनर्जन्म नायति, he doesn't get reborn. मामेति सा अर्जुन, वो मेरे पास आता है. So the one who goes to Lord Krishna in his dham, in a Vaikuntha dhama, is liberated from this cycle. जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहम पुनर्जन्मायति मामेति सा अर्जुन. So then he propounds what is the way of achieving this moksha. So he is telling Uddhav, and Uddhav, like Arjun, is very skeptical. He says, you know, who are you? How do you know all these things? So he says, well, I created it. I created the Srishti. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam etu nanyen konteya jagata vipravartate. You know, so he's saying ki it is under my guidance that Brahmaji creates this universe. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Characharam means alive and non-living, all live and non-living beings. Char acharam. Or this cycle goes on. This is a cyclic thing. So we have established a time cycle of a yuga cycle, not kalpa cycle, of 311 trillion and 40 billion years. This is in my book also, is explained in detail there. But anyway, so one has to understand how we are going to get out of this. So he keeps telling Uddhav his vibhutis कि मैं ये हूँ, मैंने ही सूर्य बनाया है, मैंने ही सब कुछ बनाया है. All the energy, all the matter is emanating from me. So Uddhav keeps asking, and more, and what are you more? So he says, in the end, he says, कि over a period of time, I can count the atoms in this universe, but I will not be able to count my vibhutis. सांख्यानाम परमाणुनाम कालेन क्रियते मया ना तथा मे विभूतिनाम सृजात अन्नानि कोटिशा. I create innumerable universes and I can count all the atoms over a period of time. Note these words. Sankhyanam Paramanunam. Paramanu is atom. Sankhyanam means I can count. Sankhyanam Paramanunam Kalena Kriyate Maya over a period of time, but still I will not be able to count my vibhutis. So anyway, Uddhav gets convinced, says, okay, then tell me for sure what is the way out. So he says, I can tell you the state in which you can achieve me. And this is one of the most poignant shlokas of in Bhagavatam Puran. So he says, this is worth listening very carefully. Yada chiddam prasidet indriyanam cha nivrittaha manasanga dehe abhyam tad satvikam vidhi matpadam. This is in the 11th canto of Bhagavad Puran. So yada chiddam prasidet, जब आपका चित्त पूरी तरह से मेरे अंदर लग जाएगा, तब इंद्रियाणाम च निवृत्ता, then the sense perception will not bother you. इंद्रिया आप निवृत्त हो जाओगे. इंद्रियाणाम च निवृत्ता, और जो मन है आपका वो डिटैच हो जाएगा. मन असंगा and dehe abhyam, and you will be fearless. There will be no fear of anything. उस सात्विक स्टेट में तत् सात्विकम विद्धि, नो urdhva, viddhi means no urdhva. In that sattvic state you can come to me. Mat tat sattvikam viddhi mat padam. Padam is my abode. So this is in brief. I mean, each point can be elaborated further with examples and whatever is been written in scriptures. So I feel that Krishna has shown us a very clear path to moksha, and obviously, when we are on earth and our ancestors have departed, we feel a slight uh, responsibility to so as to make them liberate. But how much that happens, nobody knows. If you apply Gita's and Bhagavatam and Krishna's principles, which he has very well established, then it's a very individual procedure. It's a very, very individual process. So with one's last breath, one can achieve moksha. Moksha means a direct connection to the Lord, and you can travel to Vaikuntha Dhama. So उसका फिर और भी बड़े एग्जाम्पल्स हैं. ध्रुव महाराज की स्टोरी है, वो भी बहुत सुंदर है, और बड़ी बड़ी और स्टोरीज हैं जिसमें कि कृष्णा ने खुद ही बताया है कि किस तरह से मोक्ष प्राप्त किया जा सकता है. So मोक्ष is a state of dissociation from the material. When all that is material becomes immaterial and you are connected to the Lord Krishna, then you are achieved moksha.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was really enlightening to hear about moksha from the point of Bhagavad Gita, sir. Uh, I would request now Dr. Pandav to enlighten us with the topic, sir.
नमस्ते, नमस्कार, नमस्कार. Professor Narayan, Dr. A.K. Pandey, and my esteemed colleague, Dr. Yashpal Gupta. Professor Narayan, I must
Yes,
congratulate you that you always choose the right topic. जितने भी मैंने वेबिनार्स
okay.
में पार्टिसिपेट किया, आपने बहुत सुंदर एंड चैलेंजिंग टॉपिक्स आपने दे दिए. अब बड़ी अजीब की बात है,
Thank you.
हम दोनों डॉक्टर हैं, MBBS फ्रॉम द ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंसेज न्यू दिल्ली. After MBBS, my esteemed colleague Yashpal went to London. Then he went to Oxford. He is little shy. He was also 15 chosen were for leadership course at Harvard. So that is his thing. But he has been studying Sanskrit since childhood. ऐसे मैंने देखा नहीं, संस्कृत हमने 11वीं तक पढ़ लिया, देवा देवो देव, यहाँ तक हमारा संस्कृत याद है. ये भी नहीं, इन्होंने 10 साल में एक किताब लिखी है, साइंस इन संस्कृत स्क्रिप्चर्स. रिपीट द
Hmm.
नेम, साइंस इन संस्कृत स्क्रिप्चर्स. This book of Dr. Yashpal Gupta will be released on Saturday, the 10th of September,
10th of December.
10th of December at India International Center. तो आपका हम अभिनंदन करते हैं. अब
जरूर जरूर हम लोग रहेंगे.
सर आप दिल्ली में हो तो जरूर आइए. Mr. It was while taking a flight to Delhi to attend this function.
Okay, sir.
And Dr. Pandey हम आपसे भी विनती करते हैं कि आप भी आ जाइए. बहुत सुंदर फंक्शन होगा. तो बात ये रही, हमने अभी तक गेटवे ऑफ इंडिया पता था. बम्बई का गेटवे ऑफ इंडिया. Vishnupad gateway to Moksha. What a change from Mumbai to Moksha. My knowledge was restricted to gateway of Mumbai, gateway of India. I remember the word moksha by three alphabets L, M, N. L for liberation, M for moksha, N for nirvana. L, M, N. हमारे जो प्रोफेसर थे डॉक्टर नाथ, his initials were ललित मोहन नाथ, L, M, N. तो आपने शुरू में बताया फाल्गु रिवर के बारे में. फाल्गु river is the confluence of Leelajan and Mohana river. It is a confluence of Leelajan and Mohana river, and all these are tributaries of Ganga river.
Yes.
As you know, Professor Narayan, I was in Bihar 1 month back. बिहार में कितना कल्चर रिच है. गौतम बुद्ध, भगवान महावीर, एंड पटना में ये है गुरुद्वारा.
गुरु गोविंद सिंह.
9th गुरु.
पटना में गुरु गोविंद सिंह हुए 10वें गुरु, 10th गुरु.
What a culturally rich land. In fact, Bihar derives its name from Bihar. भगवान को जब बिहार करना चाहते वो बिहार में आते थे. And I must tell you, sir, that I've been working in Bihar since 1980. पहले जाघाट, महेंद्र घाट, सौराठ सभा, सोनपुर, हम सब जगह हमारा आइडीन के काम से हम काफ़ी घूमे बिहार में, काफ़ी घूमे. अब की बार मैं गया था नालंदा, राजगीर. The government of India is trying to revive the University of Nalanda to its past glory. Nalanda had the world's largest collection. It was the world's largest library. But some elements burned that library who had no respect for literature. I won't take the name. So, Vishnupad temple and other temples are of the sites are at on the banks of Falgu River. It's an octagonal shrine, octagonal. And as you mentioned, it dates back to antiquity. You mentioned the name of Ahilyabai Holkar. So the recent reconstruction of temple was done by Ahilyabai Holkar in the 18th century. 18th century. The ancient temple may have been ornate, as always happened in the past temples. They are excellent examples of architecture. But now what you see is scattered fragments of sculptures. There is nothing left of the past. What we see today are temples that have been built by patronage of kings and queens who kept this area safe from total destruction. Hindu dharmic tradition, especially with regards to Pitra Pujan, as you mentioned, and Shraddha rituals, take place in banks of river Falgu near the vicinity of Vishnupad temple. You mentioned it's a 15-day rituals. What I liked about you, you said that there is a prescribed pattern. See how our ancestors thought in a systematic way to avoid crowd. And you would perform the rituals only on that particular day, and that has to be observed, prescribed. I think my understanding of this entire ritual is to express two things: gratitude, धन्यवाद देना है, and second is liberate the souls of our ancestors by praying at that place, and also liberate your own soul when you die, physically die. I'm using the word physically die Because Yashpal said that there is a cycle of birth and rebirth. When you are born, your death is definite, then you will be born again. So, in my understanding, it's a festival of expressing gratitude, the Dhanyavad. I also understand the people, besides bathing in the river, there is a Brahmakunda pond, Brahma, Brahmakunda pond we have. Most important duty of every follower towards their ancestors is to go and pray on pilgrimage to Gaya. And this takes place during the auspicious month of Pitru Paksha or Shraddha rituals. So it's a blessed place, both for both those who are living and those who are departed. It's a blessed place. In the process, you also mentioned about Bodh Gaya at a distance of 6 kilometers. And there, Lord Buddha decided to go for nirvana, moksha. Very interesting thing. Confluence of two rivers, confluence of two important religions, Hinduism and Buddhism. Blessed place for both the living as well as the departed. You mentioned a figure of 22 places where this activity is carried out. I'm sure there must be some reason for having 22. I don't know, but we can ask the historians as to why number 22 is chosen. Because what I understood as a student of science of Vedic literature, every activity we do, every number we say, there is a science in that. There is a science. Now, let's come to moksha, nirvana, or liberation. At the individual level, there are two dimensions. There is spiritual dimension and there is a moral dimension of life. And there are sorrows and sufferings in the Indian philosophy tries to explain that. How sorrow and suffering can be overcome completely. Philosophers have applied a realistic and practical approach to solve the problems of life and reality. There are 9 Indian schools of philosophy, nine. There is a Charvaka, there is a Buddha, there is a Nyaya, there is Sankhya, there is Jainism, there is Shankaracharya, which is Advaita Vedanta, there is Madhavacharya, which is Dvaita Advaita, and there is Ramanujacharya, Vishishta Advaita, and ninth is Bhagavad Gita. 9 schools of Indian philosophy. My esteemed colleagues has already talked about Bhagavad Gita. You should use the word Srimad Bhagavad Gita, not Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Of these, 7 Indian schools accept self as eternal, free, and pure. I repeat again, of these 9 schools, 7 Indian schools accept Atma, or self as eternal, free, and pure. There are only 2 schools who don't accept that. One is Charvaka and second is Buddha. Due to ignorance, self identifies itself with the body and undergoes sufferings. I repeat again, due to ignorance, self identifies itself with the body and as a consequence, it undergoes the suffering, various types of sufferings. They hold individual human beings can attain moksha, nirvana, or liberation. Theories applied to notion of liberation prove that the Indian thinkers originated a comprehensive and a systematic way of life, prescribed a systematic and comprehensive approach to attaining moksha, nirvana, or liberation. So it was scientific, it was systematic, and it was comprehensive. Now, the take-home message of my talk is the following. There are 4 goals or aims of basic aims of human life, 4 goals. First is dharma, second is artha, third is kama, and fourth is moksha. I repeat again. There are 4 goals or aims of basic aims of human life. Number 1, dharma. Number 2, artha. Number 3, kama. Number 4, moksha. So moksha is one of them. Vishnupad, gateway to moksha. That's only one of them. The Indian culture and heritage gives prominence to dharma. It is explained first because it is considered superior to artha and kama. Dharma, artha, and kama, dark, is too much linked with man's social life, but moksha is considered with individuals who are spiritual and who are moral. With reference to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, those who have retired for artha and kama flow the karma kanda of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, while those who are totally from them, such desires, aim at dharma and moksha. He may be followed Anandamaya. I will just focus on Charvaka. Charvaka does not believe moksha or nirvana or liberation. It does not believe in it at all. According to it, the highest goal is celebration. Some consider this philosophy as a crude form of hedonism. Karma or the enjoyment are sensual pleasures at the highest end of life. Karma message regarding liberation is avoid pain and gain pleasure. Motto of Charaka is very simple. Eat, drink and be merry. Live for pleasure. After death, there is nothing to enjoy. After that, there is nothing to enjoy. So enjoy yourself until you die. So that's the Charaka. Now, finally, materialist view is fully focused in the Charaka as a specific way of life. They believe the practice by which one can overcome all the pain and misery and attain only for pleasure. So in the beginning, I mentioned about 9 schools of philosophy. Dr. Gupta covered the Bhagavad Gita very well. I gave a broad idea of trying to understand the history of Vishnupad Mandir and the different schools of things and focused on the take-home message and focused on the Charvaka. Sir, I would make a humble suggestion to you that we should have part two of this today's talk because I have to cover 8 to 7 schools. तो मैं लाइक टू कंसिडर दैट और साथ बाकी है तो समय की वजह से मैं आप आज का वार्तालाप खत्म करता हूँ आप लोगों ने मुझे ध्यान से सुना इसलिए धन्यवाद देता हूँ आपके टीम में 3 डॉक्टर हैं डॉक्टर ए के पांडे आई थिंक सर यू आर PhD स्कॉलर डॉक्टर नारायण है डॉक्टर गुप्ता है डॉक्टर पांडव है हम मेडिकल है लेकिन हमारी जिज्ञासा थी वी आर क्यूरियस डॉक्टर गुप्ता तो सितारे हैं सितारे हम तो अभी तक जमीन में चल रहे हैं जमीन में चल रहे हैं तो मैं आपको धन्यवाद देता हूँ आज का मैं जो सब कीमती समय दिया एंड प्लीज टेक माई सजेशन सीरियसली एज पार्ट 2 and part 3 to understand Vishnupad gateway to heaven and moksha. And thank you so much for broadening my knowledge base from gateway of India Mumbai to gateway of moksha. Dhanyawad.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
धन्यवाद
Dr.
धन्यवाद
Pandey. Yes, sir. Now, I'd like to request Dr. A.K. Pandey to throw us some light on this topic, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Professor Narayan, and all the distinguished speakers. I was carefully hearing that whether I can contribute more than what has been said or not. Then I thought that exposing whatever I understood can be a good thing and will be quite useful or maybe palatable to all our friends. Language. Normally, we Indians have got language problem. We can't speak thoughtfully and completely in English, but sometimes we need English to express. So today's topic is moksha, and the concept of moksha, what I have understood from our religious books, is that God is a sea, and we all creatures are a drop of ocean. Because we are running here and there from the separate from ocean, so we think we are somebody. But when we meet that sea and dissolve completely into that, that is perhaps most accepted meaning of moksha, what we have people have said, what we all think. The second part of moksha is that we have we are always unhappy. As soon as we are born, we are unhappy because we have certain desires and we keep on complaining for that. And as one desire is completed, then second comes. But moksha is when we control our desires completely. And because when desires are incomplete, we are unhappy. So once we control our desires, we are happy. And that happiness is moksha. There is a story Vivekanand, Swami Vivekanand told in one of his lectures that once Narad was going to Swarg and found somebody in tapasya. I may be allowed to speak in Hindi because that is in Hindi. वो एक तपस्वी जंगल में तपस्या कर रहे थे. उनके शरीर में दीमकों ने बाबी बना ली थी. वर्षों से वे अविचल भक्ति में लीन थे. तो नारद को जाते देखा तो उन्होंने कहा कि आप स्वर्ग जा रहे हैं, कृपा करके पता लगाइए कि मुझे मोक्ष कितने दिन में मिलेगा. नारद ने नोट कर लिया उनका स्पेसिफिकेशन का. ठीक है, लौटूंगा तुम्हें बताऊंगा. थोड़ी दूर जाने पर एक और आदमी मिला जो सामान्य रूप से काम में बिजी था, लेकिन ईश्वर के प्रति भक्ति रखता था. ज्ञान शायद कहना ठीक नहीं, वो भक्ति रखता था और काम में लगा हुआ था अच्छे भावना से, अच्छे उससे. उसने भी कहा कि नारद जी पता लगाइएगा वहां मुझे कितने दिनों में मोक्ष मिलेगा. तो जब लौटे तो चांस की बात, सबसे पहले वो मिला तपस्वी और उसने पूछा कि मैं कितने दिन में, आपने क्या पता किया? नारद ने कहा कि मैंने पता किया है, ये जन्म पूरा होने के बाद 4 और जन्म ऐसी तपस्या करने से तुम्हें मोक्ष मिलेगा. जबकि तू तो ऐसा सुनते ही वो निराश होकर उठ खड़ा हुआ. उसने कहा इतना, यह जन्म मेरा नष्ट हो ही गया, 4 और जन्म करूंगा, ये तो बहुत कठिन काम है. और वो छोड़ के चला गया. फिर वह दूसरे आदमी के पास गया, उसने पूछा तो नारद जी ने कहा कि मुझे बताया गया तुम्हारे घर के सामने वो इमली का पेड़ है ना. उसने कहा हाँ, इसे देखते हैं. तो कहा कि इसमें जितनी पत्तियां हैं उतने जन्म के बाद तुम्हें मोक्ष मिल जाएगा. तो वो आदमी कहा बड़ी खुशी की बात है, आपने कुछ रास्ता दिखाया, और फिर अपने काम में लग गया. इतने में ही एक आकाशवाणी हुई कि वत्स, तुम इसी क्षण मोक्ष प्राप्त करोगे. इतने लंबे रास्ते की सूचना भी तुम्हें जब कर्म से विचलित नहीं कर पाई तो तुम ऑलरेडी मोक्ष पा चुके हो और उसे मोक्ष मिल गया. अर्थ मतलब यह है कि सम्यक कर्म जो है एक तरह से वह भी मोक्ष है. यदि आदमी के निर्णय की क्षमता, चिंतन सही हो और परिणाम सही मिलते जाए तो उसे मोक्ष एक तरह से मिल चुका माना जाना चाहिए. मैं अधिक तर्क में नहीं जाऊंगा, व्यक्तिगत अनुभव मैं बताऊंगा, अपना निजी अनुभव किसी समय मैं बहुत दुखी था, सांसारिक समस्याओं से परेशान था, और मैं अपने गुरुजी के पास ज्योतिषी जो थे मिलने गया। उन्होंने पूछा, मैंने समस्या बताया। उन्होंने कहा कि इस मंत्र का जाप कुछ दिन करो, तुम्हारी समस्याएं खत्म हो जाएगी। उन्होंने जो मंत्र बताया वह गीता का 2 अध्याय का 2 श्लोक है। मैं उसे दोहराता हूँ। उसका अर्थ समझना भी बड़ी खुशी की बात होती है। कुतस्त्वं कश्मल विदम विस्मय संवस्थितम अनार्जुष्टम स्वर्गम कीर्तिकरम अर्जुन। मैंने गीता खोली, उसका पढ़ा, उसका अर्थ देखा। थोड़ा मैं तार्किक भी हूँ, अर्थ भी मैं जानता था, जान गया। लेकिन उन्होंने कहा था कि बहुत बार जब इसको पढ़ोगे तभी उसका अर्थ समझ में आएगा, ऐसे शाब्दिक अर्थ से काम नहीं चलेगा। तो उनके आज्ञा अनुसार मैंने पढ़ा। बहुत ही स्पष्ट था, हे अर्जुन, ऐसा गलत विचार तुम्हारे दिमाग में कैसे आया जो न आर्यों द्वारा अपनाया गया है, अनार्जुष्टम, न स्वर्ग को देने वाला है और न कीर्ति को देने वाला है। और थोड़े ही समय के बाद मुझे उसका अर्थ अपने संदर्भ में समझ में आ गया। जीवन में हमेशा हमें कठिन निर्णय लेने पड़ते हैं, और जब यह निर्णय लेने का अवसर आए तो उसका पहला फार्मूला है कि और सफल लोग, सज्जन लोग, ऊंचे लोग जिस तरह से उसको उस स्थिति में काम किए हो उसे फॉलो किया जाए, परंपरा को फॉलो किया जाए, पहला। लेकिन उसके एक्सेप्शन है। यह भी हो सकता है कि परंपरा से हट के हो, तो कम से कम दूसरा है कि उसमें स्वर्ग को देने वाला हो, और यानी स्वर्ग का सुख देने वाला हो, भारी सफलता हो। लेकिन अगर दोनों नहीं मिल रहे हो तब कम से कम कीर्ति तो अवश्य मिलनी चाहिए, यानी लोग उसकी तारीफ करें कि तुमने एक अच्छा काम किया। एक बार निर्णय का यह सूत्र हाथ में आने के बाद में एक के बाद एक जो भी समस्याएं जीवन में आई, मैं उसे सफलतापूर्वक पार करता गया। और IAS, भारतीय प्रशासनिक सेवा के उच्चतम स्तर पर भी जब भी मेरे सामने फाइल या कोई चीज आती थी, एक क्षण में मैं निर्णय ले लेता था कि इसमें कौन सी चीज है। पहली चीज, हमेशा वैसा किया गया हो तो मुझे फॉलो करना है। दूसरा, कोई बहुत बड़ा जनहित का कार्य हो। और तीसरा, बड़ी कीर्ति हो, अगर नुकसान भी हो। मेरा मतलब है, गीता के एक श्लोक में इतनी शक्ति है और इतना ज्ञान है कि उसको फॉलो करने से, उससे साथ जाने से मनुष्य का चिंतन, मनुष्य का जीवन सब सफल हो जाता है। तो जो लोग पूरी गीता पढ़ते हैं और उसका अर्थ समझ लेते हैं और जब जीवन में उतारते हैं तो निश्चय ही वह प्रशंसा के लायक है, और अवश्य ही जीवन में बहुत सफल होते होंगे हर तरह से, और शायद मोक्ष के भी बहुत करीब होते होंगे। प्रसंग से थोड़ा हट करके एक वो फिल्मी लाइन सुनाना चाहूंगा जो इससे जुड़ा हुआ है कि गम और खुशी से में फर्क न महसूस हो जहां, मैं खुद को उस मुकाम पे लाता चला गया। अर्थात दुख और सुख, जिसको कहा दुखे सुखे सबे कितना लाभा लाभ जया जो, उस पर आ जाए। वह गीता पहले भी रही है। गीता बहुत से लोगों ने पढ़ा, और मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि महात्मा बुद्ध ने भी पढ़ा, क्योंकि महात्मा बुद्ध का बोध गया से एक गहरा संबंध है। उन्हें दिव्य ज्ञान वहां मिला था, और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वह जो दिव्य ज्ञान मिला था उसकी तलाश में वे यहाँ इसीलिए आए थे क्योंकि मूलतः वे मोक्ष की तलाश में थे। उनका चिंतन जो शुरू हुआ था वह वहीं से शुरू हुआ था कि कोई बीमार है, कोई मृत है और कोई बूढ़ा है। इनके दुखों को कैसे दूर किया जाए, समाज को कैसे ऐसा ज्ञान दिया जाए कि ये सब दुख समाप्त हो जाए। और इसकी तलाश में वे ज्ञान के जितने केंद्र थे बस उस सब में भ्रमण करते रहे, और अंत में शायद उन्हें यही लगा कि मुझे यही ज्ञान मिलेगा, इसलिए बाकी अपना अध्ययन चिंतन यही किया जाए। कभी कभी मैंने सोचने की कोशिश की कि उन अंतिम क्षणों में उनका क्या चिंतन रहा होगा, भगवान बुद्ध का क्या चिंतन रहा होगा। तो ऐसा लगा कि धीरे धीरे वे निराश होते चले गए। उन्होंने इसीलिए अन्न छोड़ दिया। क्यों छोड़ दिया अन्न, क्यों वस्त्र छोड़ दिया? क्योंकि जो मूल शिक्षा थी मोक्ष की, ज्ञान की और दुखों से दूर होने की, वह थी कि इच्छाओं का त्याग किया जाए। और इच्छाएं क्या हैं? इच्छाएं भोजन, वस्त्र, प्रतिष्ठा, यही सब मनुष्य की इच्छाएं हैं। और जिसे नहीं मिलने से वह दुखी होता है। उस हर एक इच्छा को त्याग करते चले गए। अंत में भोजन, जल का उन्होंने त्याग कर दिया। और शायद जब उनके प्राण निकलने ही वाले थे उसके ठीक पहले उन्हें एक लॉजिक समझ में आया, एक तर्क समझ में आया। और वह था कि मैंने सारा जीवन इसमें खर्च किया। मैंने सोचा कि मैं बुढ़ापे का हल निकाल लूंगा। मैंने सोचा मैं मृत्यु में विजय प्राप्त कर लूंगा। मैंने सोचा कि मैं बीमारी से लोगों को बचने का ज्ञान दे दूंगा। इस ज्ञान की तलाश में मैंने इतना समय बिताया। आज मैं स्वयं वृद्ध हूँ। आज मैं स्वयं वृद्ध, बीमार हूँ, और आज मेरा जीवन अंत के करीब है। ऐसे में यदि ज्ञान वो मिल भी गया तो मैं दुनिया को कैसे बताऊंगा? और यही उनमें चेतना का संचार था कि शायद वह ज्ञान यही है कि वह ज्ञान अंततः मिलना कठिन काम है, या उस ज्ञान की जो मेरी इच्छा थी, शास्त्रों के अनुसार जब तक वह इच्छा त्याग नहीं कर दूंगा तब तक मैं सुखी नहीं होऊंगा। मनुष्य की सबसे बड़ी कमजोरी यही है कि इच्छाओं का त्याग करते करते एक समय आता है जब उसके त्याग करने वाली इच्छा बलवती हो जाती है, और जब तक उसका त्याग नहीं किया जाए तब तक वह मोक्ष तक नहीं पहुंच सकता है। और इसी ज्ञान को उन्होंने फिर सारे संसार को बांटा और मध्यम मार्ग की सलाह दी। तो विष्णुपद मंदिर के पास ही उन्हें वह दिव्य ज्ञान मिला जिसे उन्होंने संसार को बांटा। और कहते हैं जो सम्यक कर्म, सम्यक ज्ञान, इस तरह के जो फार्मूले उन्होंने बताए, दुनिया उन पर पीछे चली और बौद्ध धर्म एक स्थान पर पहुंचा। मैं 1-2 मिनट और लेना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि लोग बहुत सोचते हैं कि सारी दुनिया में जो बौद्ध धर्म फैला, हिंदुस्तान में फिर वो घट कैसे गया। और इसका कारण यह है कि इंटरप्रिटेशन। शंकराचार्य ने जब शास्त्रार्थ की पद्धति चलाई तो उन्होंने इसको अंतिम क्षणों में जो बुद्ध का चिंतन था उसे इंटरप्रेट किया। उनका कहना था कि बुद्ध ने जो ज्ञान दिया है वह वस्तुतः हमारे सनातन चिंतन से बिल्कुल मिलता जुलता है, बल्कि जो उन्होंने उस ज्ञान प्राप्त की इच्छा का त्याग किया वह हमारे धार्मिक विचारों के बहुत ही अनुरूप है। इसलिए बुद्ध सनातन धर्म के ही एक अवतार के रूप में उन्हें मान्यता दी गई। और यद्यपि और राष्ट्रों में बौद्ध यह मानते हैं कि हम अलग धर्म के हैं, लेकिन हमारा चिंतन यह मानता है कि नहीं। यह सोचने की अब बात है कि बुद्ध को जो ज्ञान मिला, जो उनकी जानकारी मिली, वह हमारे धर्म से कहाँ तक मोक्ष के करीब है। लेकिन निश्चय ही मोक्ष के इतना करीब कोई और ज्ञान नहीं है, क्योंकि आखिर में एक इच्छा जो बची रहेगी, इवन मोक्ष की अगर आपको इच्छा है और वह बची हुई है, तब कैसे मोक्ष मिलेगा, यह एक तार्किक प्रश्न है। मैं याद दिलाना चाहूंगा कि ब्रह्मा ने जब सृष्टि का सृजन किया था, तो उनकी पहली खेप जो थी वो तपस्या करके ब्रह्म में लीन हो गई और मोक्ष प्राप्त कर ली थी। तब उन्होंने विचार के द्वारा जो दूसरी सृष्टि की, उसके साथ काम की भी सृष्टि की, ताकि मनुष्य सांसारिक चीजों में उलझा रहे। और यह मोक्ष से जो हमारी दूरी है, वह ईश्वर के उसी चिंतन के लिए है। दूरी है, उसके हम बहुत करीब जा रहे हैं, लेकिन वह मिलेगा किसे, ये शायद ही जो बहुत ज्ञानी हो, बहुत कठिन काम करता हो, कृष्ण भगवान जिसको एकदम से चाहते हो, शायद उसी को मिल सकेगा। इसी चीज को फिर दोबारा मार्कंडेय पुराण में भी दोहराया गया है। एक श्लोक उसका है, ज्ञान नाम चेतांसी देवी भगवती सा बलादक्ष मोह महामाया प्रचति। यह जो महामाया है, महादेवी है, ये बड़े बड़े ज्ञानियों को भी भ्रम में डाल देती है और उनकी बुद्धि को बदल देती है, क्योंकि इसी संसार को चलाते रहना, इस महामाया संसार चलता रहे अपनी स्थिति में, इसके लिए इस बंधनों में हम पड़े हैं। और उस ज्ञान को हो भी, हमें वो ज्ञान हो भी, तो शायद पूरा नहीं कर पाते हैं। मैं समझता हूँ कि थोड़ा बहुत जो मुझे जानकारी थी मंदिर के बारे में, वह तो आपने बताया ही, लेकिन उससे बुद्ध का जो संबंध है और मोक्ष का जो चिंतन बुद्ध के में था और हमारे सनातन में था, उनमें क्या मेल है, क्या सिमिलरिटी है, इस पर मैं कुछ कह सका हूँ। मुझे उम्मीद है कि थोड़ा बहुत आपके लिए तो अच्छा लगा होगा। आपने धैर्यपूर्वक सुना, इसके लिए मैं आपको धन्यवाद देता हूँ। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
बहुत
यू
बहुत
सर।
धन्यवाद आपको, आपने महत्वपूर्ण बिंदुओं का पर प्रकाश डाला। और जैसा कि आपने कहा कि इसमें मोक्ष के सिलसिले में काफी कुछ, अभी मोक्ष के संदर्भ में अभी कुछ और बात करना चाहिए। और डॉक्टर पद्मश्री पांडव भी बता रहे हैं कि इसका एक और सेक्शन होना चाहिए, पार्ट टू। वो कह रहे हैं कि पार्ट टू होना चाहिए, तो मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि पार्ट टू इसका हो, जिसमें आपने जैसे कहा कि बुद्ध का विष्णुपद से क्या संबंध था, या बुद्ध जब लौट रहे अपने, तो उस काल्हान के पास से जब वो लौटे थे, तो फिर वो फल्गु में गिरे, और गिरने के बाद उनको, तो जब आए यहाँ पे और जाटा ने जब उन्हें खीर खिलाया, उसी रात को उनको ज्ञान की जो प्राप्ति हुई, वो क्या था, क्योंकि उनकी इच्छाएं तो वहीं समाप्त हो गई जब वो गिरे। और उनके जो भी उनके शिष्य बनकर आए, तो उन सबको उन्होंने छोड़ दिया, कहा कि जाओ तुम लोग, हमारे पास कोई ज्ञान नहीं है। तो शायद इन विषयों पे मैं सेकंड पार्ट में चर्चा कर चाहूंगा, और आप लोगों का भी उसमें सहयोग होगा तो बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा। इसके साथ ही आप सबों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और भी कोई आपका सजेशन हो डॉक्टर पांडव, तो हम लोग उसको मानेंगे, कोशिश करेंगे कि उस पर भी हम लोग कार्यक्रम करें। तो
एक खुशी की बात है सर, डॉक्टर गुप्ता
हाँ,
इज गोइंग टू बी इन इंडिया फॉर द नेक्स्ट 2 months.
ओके ओके,
So
इट्स
we can learn from his wisdom.
ओके ओके, we can get enlightened from his wisdom. We will try to bring him. तो आप करो, वोट ऑफ थैंक्स कर लो।
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And first of all, it was great to enrich ourselves with vast knowledge of moksha. I first of all thank Professor Narayan, our chairperson, who explained us the concept of moksha and the construction of the temple and the reason behind it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I would definitely like to thank Dr. Yash Gupta for explaining moksha from the point of Sri Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, sir. It was really great. So, my heartfelt thanks to Padma Shri Dr. Pandav, who explained the concept of moksha and the gratitude to our ancestors, and explaining us the linkage with various science philosophies and thoughts. Thank you, sir. And last but not the least, Dr. Pandey, sir, you explained moksha to control our desire and be happy by doing good virtues and karma in life. Thank you so much, sir. We also thank the audience on YouTube, Facebook for encouraging us our program continuously. Thank you so much, sir.
Namaste.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.